Assalamualaikum and good day students. Dr. Hamzah speak in this video. In this video, I would like to deliver my lecture under the title of Environmental Issues in Conservation. So this title is one of the chapters that present in our course Introduction to Ecology. Before further ado, I would like to deliver my lecture right now. For the second slide, belong to this chapter number 5. Lecture slide, we want to discuss about learning outcome that can be derived. Okay, for this chapter number 5. Okay, the first one, learning outcome that we can gain from it. Briefly describe some major environmental dilemma and issue that shape our current environmental agenda. The second one, understand and evaluate the global scale of environmental problem or issue. The third, reflect critically on their role, responsibility, and identity as citizen, consumer, and environmental actor in the complex interconnected world. And the last one, students will apply the knowledge of natural resources and environmental issues to devise some conservation plan. For the third slide, we want to discuss about the general term, the general info related about environmental issue. Before we discuss it in detail about it, let's define what we mean by environment. So based on this slide, an environment is generally can be defined as surrounding or condition in which a person, animal, or plant survive or operate. So environment right now in this world, constantly changing. The changing of environment right now due to the environmental issue. Besides, we discuss about environmental term in this slide. We also found about environmental issue term in this slide. Therefore, the meaning belong to this term, environmental issue, is the harmful impact of human activity on the environment. So, example of environmental issue that due to human activities such as pollution, overpopulation, waste disposal, climate change, global warming, greenhouse effect, and etc. Now, we go to the next slide, this one. So this is example of environmental issue that happen today in this world. The first one, shrinking sea. Next, reservoir airings. Third, glacier retreat. The fourth one, chalk or drought. This slide, we will discuss about another example, additional info for the example environmental issue in this world. The first one, deforestation. The extinction of endangered species. The happen of acid rain. The incident of global warming, greenhouse effect, disposal of waste material that include for the pollution, for example, water pollution and air pollution as well. Next, this slide, we still want to discuss about the issue related about environmental issue. So, the environmental issue in terms of rate, it becomes worsening day by day. So, this is the problem about environmental issue that happen in this world right now. So, this kind of issue already at the level of global issue, whereby this issue can affect the human health, affect the human economy, and so on. So this is why environmental issue become the hot topic that discussed globally. Next, we still want to discuss about environmental issue in terms of its general info. So environmental issue, as I said just now, become a global issue right now. So a lot of people in this world, they are alert about this issue because it becomes a hot topic in this world right now. So there are several examples of environmental issues that become concerned by the people in this world. For example, like global warming, climate change, and greenhouse effect. Okay, so as I said in previous slide, this issue, environmental issue, in terms of rate, increase day by day. So if we not try to manage it, correctly, it will soon be no life on Earth. That's the effect of environmental issue. If we are not managing properly. Okay, now. So as I said just now, environmental issue. There are examples of environmental issue that happen in this world. The first environmental issue we want to discuss within this sector, the fifth one for our course, which is environmental pollution. So, environmental pollution in terms of its meaning is the introduction or addition of any substance or situation that is harmful or not required to the environment or in the place that substance pollute the environment, which refer as pollutant. So pollutant, okay, the agent that cause the environmental pollution that happen in this world. It is usually a substance. So a substance, as I said just now, the pollutant. That's if present and the place wrongly, and the wrong amount, and at the wrong time, that can cause the environmental issue or the environmental pollution happen and nowadays in this world. Next, we want to discuss about the characteristic of pollutant or substance that can cause harmful impact to the environment. Pollutant can be categorized into several categories that include gases, liquid, and solid water. This is the form of pollutant or substance that can cause harmful impact to our environment. Okay, next info related about this slide. Pollution can be positive or negative. Positive pollution takes place when pollutants are introduced into the environment, leading to the problem to the mankind, animal, and plant. The next type of pollution that we call negative pollution that occurs when something valuable or important is removed from the place, creating problem to the living organism. For example, removal of upper soil layer by erosion, depletion of vegetation, or removal of nutrients from the upper soil layer by leaching process. Next, let's discuss about the factors, okay, that contribute for the environmental pollution. The first one, right part of pollution, growth taking place in the global level, especially in the third world countries, which lead to the increased rate of production of the waste and problem in making the waste. The second factor that contributes to environmental factor, the second one, based on this slide, increased level of poverty in developing countries, make people use cheap energy resources that cause air pollution like charcoal and firewood. Okay, now this is the title we want to discuss the first type of environmental pollution. Okay, in this chapter, the fifth one for our course, we only discuss about two types of environmental pollution: air pollution and the last one, which is water pollution. The rest of pollution type that happen in this world, we are not discuss about it. So air pollution, in terms of its meaning, it can be defined as air pollution is the release of pollutants such as gases, particles, molecules, and other substances or pollutant agents into the air that is harmful to human health and the environment as well. There are two types of air pollutant or substance that cause harmful impact to our air condition. The first one that we call primary pollutant. The pollutant that directly cause air pollution are known as primary pollutant. Sulfur dioxide emitted from the factory is the primary pollutant. The second one that we call secondary pollutant, the pollutant formed by intermingle. Okay, and reaction of primary pollutant are known as secondary pollutant. Smoke formed by intermingling of smoke and fog is the example of a secondary pollutant type. Now, based on this slide, okay, talking about air pollution. Okay, now, air pollution, major pollutant or substance that can cause this kind of problem. Okay, example of major pollutant, okay, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, volatile organic compound, particle matter, toxic metals such as lead or mercury, fluorocarbon, ammonia, and so on. This is example of substance or pollutant agent that can cause air pollution in this world. What causes air pollution? Based on this slide, car exhaust, emission from industrial production, for example, coming from factory, power station that produce dust, smoke, and smell, which is the agent that can cause air pollution in certain conditions. Which gases in the air are poisonous that produced by certain sources in this world that can cause air pollution. For example, like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and the last one example belong to this slide, which is carbon dioxide. Okay, now, based on this slide, we still want to discuss about the impact of air pollution. Okay, what the impact of pollution in this world? It can cause significant impact to human health. That's the impact. Okay, or negative, or the negative feedback that can be produced by air pollution toward organisms in this world. For example, as I said just now, human, what the negative impact that can be suffering due to air pollution happen as well, so it can impact in terms of human health. It can produce climate change changes in weather pattern that the meaning for the climate change. For example, the ice known as South Pole melt that can cause the sea level, okay, in this world increase. That is the impact of air pollution. Now, this slide we still want to discuss the impact of air pollution. For example, like this one, the impact to the human health. Okay, says it in this slide. Okay, let's discuss about the info related about this slide. So we still discuss about air pollution. This is the slide showing the example of the negative impact due to the air pollution to human. For example, the impact of air pollution to human health. For example, like heat wave, problem in inhalation or respiratory system can be produced due to this environmental issue, and then this kind of operation can induce the increased population of the insect vector that can cause disease on humans. For example, like mosquito that can cause the disease or malaria disease on humans. Besides that, air pollution also can cause the problem of ingestion process that happen in human body. And then the last example of the impact of air pollution to human, for example, like stress. This is some example of heart issue that related about air pollution problem. Okay, now let's continue to the next slide, talking about air pollution. So in previous slide, we're talking about the impact or negative feedback that can be produced of air pollution, okay, to our health or to our environment. Now, in this slide, we want to discuss about the control measure, how we want to manage or reduce the impact of air pollution in this world. So, example of control measure or the step that we can practice, to reduce this problem, which is air pollution. Okay, for example, like stop or poverty, use unleaded petrol, carpool, use alternative energy. Okay, next example, control of the air pollution based on this slide, planting more trees, using electric vehicle, using alternate source of energy, using environmental friendly vehicle, and lastly, using public transport. Okay, now, the next example of pollution, environmental pollution, we want to discuss under the chapter number 5, belong to this course. The second environmental pollution that we want to discuss about it, which is water pollution. One of the most dangerous problems in the world right now, talking about environmental pollution, is the shortage of clean water. Industrial pollution has made many sources of water undrinkable. To make things still worse, many towns pour their sewage straight into the river with a little treatment before it. This is the in terms of meaning and in terms of what kind of factor or the sources, how this problem, talking about water pollution, happen in this world. Okay, besides that, the water pollution can be defined based on this slide as well. The next definition belongs to water pollution based on this slide. Okay, definition of water pollution. Water pollution is the contamination of water body. For example, lakes, river, ocean, aquifer, and groundwater. This is example of water body that present in this world. So water pollution occurs when pollutants are directly or indirectly discharged into the water body without adequate treatment to remove that harmful compound. Okay, now students, we want to discuss about the same topic, which is water pollution. So now, for this slide, we want to discuss where is the sources that can cause water pollution in this world. So based on this slide, two sources that can cause water pollution or become a factor, okay, that can cause water pollution in this world. The first one that we call point sources. Contaminants that enter the waterway from the single or identifiable source, such as a pipe or a ditch. Example of the source in this category include discharges from a sewage plant, a factory, or the city storm drain. The second sources that can cause water pollution in certain areas refer to diffuse contamination that does not originate from a single discrete source. A common example is the leaching out of nitrogen compound from fertilized agriculture land. Nutrient runoff in the stormwater